Hey everyone, it is Natalie from Being Intentionally Creative. I hope you're having a beautiful day so far and that you're doing something creative in your day. I was outside looking at my cherry tree. I have two cherry trees. One's not doing all that well, but it is fall and the leaves are starting to come off the trees now. And as I was staring at it, I remember that, this is going way back with the videos I was doing, that I had done a video using leaves to make earrings. And as I was looking at my cherry tree, I thought, well, because the leaves are falling off the tree anyway, it might be fun to go back and do another set of earrings. Now, you'll notice I have 3 sets of leaves here. These are fairly big. These are off the cherry tree. These 2 are off the cherry tree. And then I have raspberry bushes. Well, a small grouping of raspberry bushes, which I found out this summer my dog actually likes to eat raspberries. Anyway, I also took down a couple of raspberry leaves because I thought, well, it might be fun to make them as well. So when I did the ones before, I had just used clear resin and I think I put some sparkles on. They were really pretty earrings and I thought, well, let's make some more. Now, these may be too big and I might end up making a pendant with these or putting them into something else. I don't know. We're going to be using UV resin. I have decided to use the Lightwish UV colorful resin that I got a while ago. I'm using the red and the lime green. Now, I'm not picking them up because I want them on the side so that I can, get them flowing easier, quicker than if I, have them standing up. So my intention is to try and get some air bubbles that don't come out and whatnot. So now, with the raspberry leaves, they were sort of not folding up, but they were rounded a little bit. So I took some Instant Tack and put them on the bottom, and I've stuck them down on my silicone mat. Or I'm not even sure if this is silicone or exactly what this stuff is made out of, but that's irrelevant. So I've stuck them down to maybe make it easier, and I thought the ridges in this would be really, really interesting. I had also been looking at some of the leaves because we have critters out there, insects and whatnot, that are, making holes in some of the leaves. And I thought, oh, that'd be really cool, to make a pair that actually had some holes because of, the insects and whatnot. And some of the leaves that did have them were the bigger leaves that would be too big for me to use anyway. So I left that sort of idea on the branches outside. You'll notice with the cherry that they've got all these brown dots on them. And I don't know if that's part of the process of it being fall and them, dying off. I don't know. But I thought that was kind of neat. And I kind of thought, well, they're smooth. They don't really have any bumps or whatnot to them. So maybe it's just a coloration change because of the time of year. But I thought if they'd had any bumps and whatnot on them, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah, these ones don't either. So it must just be a color changing for them. Anyway, there we go. So that's what we're going to work on. And I also have all my other UV colored resins off to the side here in case I, want to, switch things up. I mean, because we've got some other colors. I did kind of look, I wasn't sure about the solid color. This is light green. So, who knows? Maybe I'll bring some other colors into this. I know the turquoise green is very pretty, if I recall correctly. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll start with these 2 colors. We'll see what we can do. I'm going to do my bestest not to end up getting resin everywhere because I really don't want to. Get one of my wet wipes out. Okay. So I'm not 100% sure. I know I should be wearing gloves for this, but my cold is with me. My temperature is all over the bloody place, and I just find putting gloves on is a little too much for me right now. So let's see what we can do. I'm actually going to move my Instatack out of the way, and I won't take you through all of this. I mean, it's going to take me a while to do this. And I thought what I would do is I was going to do the cherry leaves in red, and I was going to do the raspberry and green. And like I said, I'm not sure how this is going to work from the perspective of, but let's see what we can do. And I've got a couple of dotting tools here that we can use. So let's see, we'll get these two out of the way completely. But I thought the texture would be kind of cool on these raspberry leaves. And I'm going to have to find a way of breaking any of these air bubbles because I really, really don't want to take my lighter to these. So I'll maybe do, you know, one raspberry leaf and then one cherry, and then I'll go off and do them. And I don't know, I'm trying to think, I think I did maybe 3 layers with the last ones I made. And I'll be curious too, I mean, the resin let go of the leaves really easily the last time I did this, and I'm really hoping that holds true with these. And I'd kind of like to keep them on for, you know, a couple of layers anyways, only because, well, not with these ones so much, but with the cherry ones, because I have the stem to work with. I was very specific in keeping the stems, so I had something to hold on to. So this is a very, I'm going to say this is a very time-consuming thing to do, so if you don't have the patience for it, then I'm not really going to recommend that you do this. And the other thing I know some people have done is they've actually not taken like the leaf off. They've just resined, and I think more with the flowers than anything else. But I kind of like the idea of taking it off so that I can actually see the green. And I'm thinking I should have my other glasses on too so I can see a little bit better what I'm doing. Now my raspberry leaves aren't exactly the same size, so I'm not sure whether to make them into a pendant or say I don't care, and I'm going to get my other glasses, saying I don't care, and just make them into earrings anyway. If you'll notice, I did my nails, and both sides are totally different. I had fun. I gave myself permission to do my nails. It took a couple hours, but it was fun doing it. So I'm going to get these down as close to the edge as possible. And then I'll put a little bit more on. Ridges here that aren't covered, and you know what might be kind of cool is if I have those ridges, because when I take off the resin from the leaf, I might actually get holes, right? So that might be okay. And I may be able to very carefully take my lighter to these and pop any, because I am getting some air bubbles in this. And maybe that doesn't matter either, right? Because it gives more texture to the whole process, which isn't a bad thing. I'll maybe let these sit for a few minutes just to settle. And try not to move them because I can't really stick them back down now. Okay. And I don't know whether I'm going to add any sparkle to these or not. I was kind of thinking, making them red and green, that maybe I could make them for Christmas. And of course, I love the fact that there's so many neat UV colors out now that you can make them for different seasons if you wanted to. And hopefully my head's not diving into this and you can't see it. Hair's a mess today. Okay, now that that's set, I'll bring one of the cherry leaves into the camera view. Now this could be interesting. I'm wondering if I want to maybe tack that down too, just because I don't want all my resin running to one side. I got a lot of that off on that one, didn't I? Very springy stuff. That's going to make it interesting, isn't it? Oh well, at least it's somewhat flat for me. That's a pretty red. Well, it's almost pink, but it's a pretty color. Yeah, here's hoping that doesn't run off the sides. I don't really like how that's set over there, but a little bit more on that. I tell you, it's a somewhat labor intensive doing this. Yeah, see, I don't like the way that hump is there. I should have flattened it out more. Okay. Let me just very carefully and put my lighter down to... Right, okay. See if I can get any air bubbles without hurting the leaf. Alright, across like that. Yeah, so I've still got some spots I can see with my green one. So I'm not going to worry too much about that because I'll build it up a little bit. So let's those off my face. Cure this up. I guess I'm gonna have to plug it in first. And we'll do 60 seconds. Ooh. So if you're doing anything creative today, please put it in the comments below so I know what you're up to. I think this is going to take me quite a bit of time, so this is going to be my creativity for the day. And hopefully these cure okay and there's not any kind of issue with the getting those air pockets. I don't know if I'd mentioned, I did some research on YouTube, and I think part of the problem with some of the other pieces I've been doing and getting my air bubbles is because of, or the pockets of, that look like divots in my resin, is because it's been too thick. And I have to work at being, like, making my layers thinner. At least that was some of the information I'd found out, that maybe my UV resin was being put on too thick. And I guess depending on what you're putting it on, some places are going to be thicker than others. So I have to be a little more careful about that. And you'll notice too, or at least I have found sometimes, that the leaves tend to curl too as they get heated up. Yeah. Oh, that one's definitely hard. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you go. I'm going to put a couple of more coats of UV resin on these people, these two out on the outside, and then I'll bring you back when I go to take the resin off the leaves, and we'll hopefully, fingers crossed, that goes smoothly for me. I might have to get my X-Acto knife out a little bit just to get underneath, but I'll bring you back when it's time to do that, and then we will see about getting the other two done. I'll see you in a little bit. So we're back, and you'll notice I have a third leaf here. Can you see it? No, you're out of view of it, aren't you? So give me a moment, and we'll get you into view of it. Ta-da! Okay, so I've done one of the big leaves, and what I did with this one was I actually did it half red, half green, because I thought, well, that would be fun. Now, one of the things a tip I'm going to give you, that if you're doing this and your leaf is not flat, I am going to recommend that you find a way of taping it down or holding it down, because my red was running into my green. I did try to take some of the tack stuff and put it under the back, but that didn't hold. There is some tack underneath this, and I'm just going to lift it up. There is some. Now I've noticed I've got some, the piece was getting hot, obviously from the resin adhering to it. Okay, so let's work on getting these guys up, and get this tack stuff out of the way and see if I can do justice to this by getting this off. Now, it's interesting. So you see this spot right here? That's where I had my tack on the back. So that's kind of interesting. I'm going to take this other guy up. I'll do the rest of these off camera. What my thought is right now actually is to not do the other pieces. Not because I don't want to, but what I thought I might do is just make, because I have one red, one green earring as such so far, is I just put these two together as earrings and then have that as a huge pendant. So I'll have to give some thought to that, but let's see if I can get these off the leaf. Like I know the last time I managed to do it. So here's to hoping I can do it again. I've got my X-Acto knife, so I'm going to try and pry. There we go. Underneath. And I really want to be careful because I don't want to get my fingerprints all over this. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put these outside in the sun. It's a very windy day, so I'll have to be really careful that they don't blow away, but there we go. I'd like to get them out to the sun. Okay, so hopefully you can see me. So what I did, because my fingers may have been in the way, is I started here at the top, and I just got my X-Acto knife underneath it. Oh, there goes my red. Stay. Underneath this, and then I'm just carefully lifting it up. Now what I'm going to actually do is I'm going to take my tweezers now. I'm trying to decide how I want to do this. Or maybe I should just pull it away. Very carefully. Poor leaf. Got a little burnt in the process. And there we have that. That off to the side. And that's what we've got for that. So I'm trying to debate whether I want to work and put another coat of resin. And what I might do is do it on the back. The back is matte, obviously because of the leaf. And I don't know whether you can see, I can see the vein work in there. It's very subtle. It is hard to see even for me. So that's what the one looks like. And I'm gonna try and get, again, it's hard for me to get into view because I need to kind of have this close to me. So it's just a matter of finding a spot that you can get your knife under to start lifting it up. Without hurting anything. I don't know if I can. There we go. So all I did was I pulled on the stem this time. The challenge is of not wanting to get fingerprints all over this stuff. There we go. So I need to get my whatchamacallits, tweezers underneath this. I think part of my leaf has maybe stuck to the resin. Oh, there we go. This one's probably going to be a little more challenging just because of the type of leaf. And I will admit this is not dried out at all. Like, I literally went out to my raspberry bush and picked off the leaf. So I may have stragglers that I have to, I just want to make sure I'm in camera. So we've got a bit of the moisture of the leaf itself to deal with. This is kind of cool though. Ugh. As I say ugh because I really don't want to touch the front of this, but I want you to be able to see. So this didn't come off as easy, which I'm not really surprised at because of the type of leaf it is. So again, this is where you're going to have patience. And if you're going to be doing this with your X-Acto knife, be careful that you don't go through to the other side and put a hole in it unless you want to. Now, what might also work is tape. So I could try that with some of these tiny little pieces that are sort of stuck on. And maybe what I might do, I might grab a piece and just see if that makes a difference in taking it off. Just so we can see if that'll help. So let me grab a piece. This isn't the best masking tape in the world. Might be working though. I tell you, having nails this long, doing this kind of stuff isn't the most practical in the world. That little devil just does not want to come out. Just gotta get it out of there. Alright, I'm gonna do that off camera. That's getting a little tedious. Yeah, so I think definitely having a different leaf has made this more interesting. I wonder if I pull it from the bottom. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to do this off camera, and I'll use tape, I guess, to get that off. So take into consideration the type of leaf you're going to use, because it may do what this one's doing and just making it a little bit more challenging than I would have liked it to have been, even though I thought it was kind of cool that we were using a raspberry leaf to do this, but I'll work on getting that off. So that's what that one looks like. And again, like the veins on this one on the back, I mean, that's very cool. I don't know how well you can see that, but it's very cool. They come out much better. Okay, and then this one hopefully should be a smoother ride to do, just because. And then all I'm doing is pulling from the back there. Yeah, this is the smoother the leaf, the better it will be for you if you do it. And that's how that one looks, which is cool. So I think that's I think it's really neat that you can actually do this. Now I do have a little mark on the back of this one, and that would have been one of those dots that was on the leaf. So yeah, I'm a little bit bothered that it's on the green side versus the red side, because you can see it on the other side, but it's part of the, you know, the perfection of the leaf and what it's doing. And I almost wonder if I've got just a tail of part of the leaf on the bottom of this, but you know, hey, again, it's part of the detail of it. So I'm gonna finish cleaning this up, but I thought it would be a neat video to do this just because, as I say, I was just standing outside at my trees looking at them and thinking this would be really cool to take something that's going to be falling off the branches soon and making them into something. So I'll have to think about whether I'm going to do the other three, but at least we've gone through. And I think the other thing that I really like about doing this is the fact that I've got colored UV resins that I can use. So instead of me having to potentially mix color up, I mean, I already have them, which makes this really interesting. So I'll have to see. So I think I'm going to end the video here because we've gone through the process of how to do this. You sort of know, maybe stay away from such a detailed, or perhaps if I had sprayed it first with a release, it might have worked better. Again, I've got a can of that stuff and I very rarely use it. The flatter the leaf, obviously, the easier it's going to be to get the resin off of it. But yeah, I thought this would be sort of a go back in time, if you will, and redo something I've already done, but use colored resin this time instead of just clear. But yeah, actually I really like that. I don't know if it'd be too big as a pendant. So let me know your thoughts on this, and let me know if you've ever done this. I'd be curious to know if you've done it. And if there's, you know, particular leaves you may have used. Again, this was something I had seen someone else on YouTube do. And I think what was fascinating to me was, is it really going to be that easy to peel the leaf off of the resin, which, again, the flat ones definitely came off a lot easier. So you could make a bunch of these, and you could put them in other resin pieces, which might be kind of cool. If you did something that was, you know, a bit higher than, you know, these small leaves, you could maybe place them around it. If you were doing a tray, you could put them in that. Obviously, as earrings or a pendant, you have the option of doing that with them. Yeah, just open up your imagination to what you could do with pieces like this. So if that's something you can comment below on, that would be great. But I hope you've enjoyed this video. And next time you're out in nature, who knows what you're going to see and go, huh, what can I do with that? Thank you for watching, commenting. Have a great day. Bye for now.